We have returned. We're back at it. Good day to you. It is the 29th day of March, 2023, and it's Wednesday. Winning Wednesday is back because, well, it's Wednesday, and that's what we came up with. And as you see at the bottom of your screen, once again, bringing you Winning Wednesday, our friends at that pizza place in beautiful downtown Cashmere. They got arcade games, they got bowling, they got pie, and specifically, we're talking about bowling. I got the certificate right here. This is a package bowl. It's bowling for six people. For 2 hours of bowling plus the shoes. Well, you got to return the shoes. You don't get to keep them. I found that out the hard way. Still doing community service for that. In any event, bowling for six people for 2 hours. That's a lot of bowling. Plus the shoe rental. It's let me look at this here. It's a $700 value. It's a $70 value, and it could be yours. If you want to enter, send me an email. winner@ncwlife.com. winner@ncwlife.com, winner@ncwlife.com. That's the email address. That's how you enter. Employees of Solion Broadcasting, Local Telecommunications, and their immediate families are not eligible. Sorry, Austin. These things happen. You want to bowl for free? You and 5 of your friends, or 4 of your friends, and 1 of your enemy? It doesn't matter to me. You can do it on us, but you got to enter, because if you don't enter the contest, you can't win the contest. And by the way, that pizza place now is doing online orders, too, so you can go to their website, order your pie, and go pick it up. Courtesy of that pizza place in downtown Cashmere. 2 hours of bowling for 6 people. That's 5 plus 1 for 2 hours. $70 value plus the shoe rental. Get in your emails, and we'll get them to you, and we'll pull a winner a little bit later on this morning. 45 very mild degrees outside, right out of the box. That standoff situation in the Plain area and the Chumstick Canyon area is over. They pulled all the barricades out. The road is open. They did that at about 6:25 this morning. We'll give you the latest on that. There's really not a lot of details. That was the big story around North Central Washington. But that incident is now a done deal, although we don't really have the final disposition of what was going on. We'll get that as the day progresses, but we'll talk about that with the news. Sports highlights of last night's Eisenhower Cadet Eastmont Wildcat boys soccer game that we carried here. And, of course, tomorrow, opening day of the baseball season. It's not a national holiday, but it should be. And we're going to revisit the interview that I did with Jeff Austinson and Charles Atkinson. They are the principals of North 40 Productions. Their latest full-length feature documentary debuts tomorrow night at the Numerica Performing Arts Center. These are 2 talented guys, and the story that they told, the last ride of the show ponies, We're Not Lost, is the film you're going to be able to see tomorrow night at the PAC. Jeff and Charles will talk about that in the back half of the hour. Let's get going. We got a lot to get to. 3 minutes after the hour. Here we go. The Wenatchee Heights camera chimes in. As you can see, clouds are hanging pretty heavy. Now the sun will come out eventually later on as the day progresses. So you see the clouds now. They're going to be departing. And we may get to that 60-degree mark, which we still haven't gotten to yet since Halloween. We're going to go about 150 days between 60-degree days. That may end today. Certainly, I think, is going to end tomorrow. Good morning to the Heights. To Billy Goat we go, our good friends to the north. Another spectacular view. As you can see, they're already seeing their clouds begin to clear out there. That's what's going to be happening down here in the valley in about an hour and a half. Good morning to our friends in Billy Goat, Alta Lake, Pateris, Brewster, Bridgeport, and all things to the north of us. The Waterville camera is looking at the Columbia River, and it looks something like this. Still not quite enough light for that to change from black and white to color. But there you go. That's a beautiful view of the Columbia River. And Aniat. Good morning, Aniat, the gateway to recreation in downtown Wenatchee. Takes a bow with just a little bit of snow still hanging around at the very top of Birch Mountain, downtown Wenatchee, from the roof of the Cascadian. All right. So, without further ado, from the National Weather Service, here's what we're looking at. Nice and mild today, near 60. Again, we haven't gotten to 60 degrees since Halloween of last year. It's been a long time, but that looks like it's definitely going to happen because we're already at 45 degrees, so it's mild. 38 for the overnight low tonight, sunshine, and 61 on Thursday. I think I'm taking tomorrow off. Well, no, I can't. I got to work. I'm not going to work real hard Thursday. I'm going to catch some vitamin D. Most of the day Friday looks pretty good until late in the day when this next system rolls in. In fact, there's a series of weather systems, not particularly strong, not packing a big punch, but it's going to bring us some periods of gusty winds, Some rain, some snow in the mountains. That begins late Friday night. It is going to rain Friday night into Saturday. We'll see some rain Saturday morning. Eventually, the sun will come out, but we're getting cool still. 51 is all we're going to get to, with a pretty good chance of rain Friday night into Saturday. Also breezy on Saturday into Saturday night. 32 for the overnight low with some mountain snow. We do it all over again Sunday. Mixture of clouds and sun with a chance of rain, and a high of 51 and a high of 51, and then a high of 51 and then a high of 51. So cooler than normal and a tad unsettled. But today, especially this afternoon, all day Thursday and most of the day on Friday, looking good. Things change for the weekend. These things happen. 6 minutes after the hour. We'll take a break and come back with your headlines. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
I chose a career at Kuntz South because I wanted to help people, and I knew there would be opportunities for growth. I started as a medical assistant, but quickly advanced in my career. I received 5 promotions in only 7 years, 3 of those in management roles. Most organizations don't offer that type of growth. Now, as a career pathway coordinator, I let everyone know. Come join Kuntz South. Come grow with us.
When you call Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, you're calling on 35 plus years of experience in the Wenatchee Valley. Spending extra time in your home, you may have discovered an unwanted aroma. Stinky feet, pets, who knows what. Call Dick's today about installing their Train Clean Effects electronic air cleaner or a Rheem Halo ultraviolet air purifier. Either way, the air quality in your home will be improved. Proudly servicing all of North Central Washington, call 884-6444 today.
Quite a bit of cloud cover, 45 degrees. Clouds will be departing by this afternoon. Lots of warm sunshine, high near 60. We do it again Thursday, most of the day Friday. Not quite as warm on Friday. Pretty unsettled weekend with some rain and considerably cooler temperatures than what we're going to have for the next couple of days. It's 7 minutes after the hour. That shelter-in-place order for the intersection of Chumstick Highway and Mary Canyon ended this morning after 19 hours. The order for residents along the Chumstick corridor to shelter in their homes included the closure of the highway between Plain and Leavenworth. That was issued about 12:30 yesterday afternoon, and that ended just before 6:30 this morning. The shutdown came as Chelan County Sheriff's deputies and police from other agencies responded in force to a residence in the Mary Canyon area. That's off Chumstick Highway between Plain and Leavenworth. Witnesses reported seeing a stream of armored vehicles and other emergency machinery converging on the area. A police tactical team was activated yesterday morning for a report of an individual barricaded in a home and believed to be armed. Authorities closed down Chumstick Highway between Mary Canyon and Milepost 11, asking nearby residents to stay inside. Now, at the time, the Chelan County Emergency Management Office said the incident involved a barricaded person, but it was not a hostage situation. The final disposition of what exactly transpired yesterday in the Chumstick, we'll have more on that on tonight's evening news and throughout the course of the day today on our homepage. Douglas County improperly spent more than $250,000 in COVID funds from the federal government. They did it on a road project, but they didn't properly vet 5 contractors who were paid about $900,000 more for other projects. That's the finding from the state auditor's office. They assessed the county's spending from 2021. Douglas County used about $276,000 in COVID money to pay for realigning Badger Mountain Road. That took place prior to 2020. That is outside the permissible window to spend that money. It also didn't have a system in place to verify that the contractors it hired using COVID grant dollars were not prohibited from receiving federal funds. Douglas County issued a statement Monday saying it's corrected all of the oversights, but it doesn't believe that the auditor's office should have noted them in a formal finding. A former worker who won a civil judgment against Bethlehem Construction out of Cashmere has received about 3/4 of the jury's award so far, but a Chelan County judge is still considering how to dole out the $75,000 still owed in the case. The jury found last year that Bethlehem Construction violated labor law and civil rights of Uriel Sanchez, who endured racial slurs from a manager and was denied clean water while working on a Quincy job site. The jury settled on a $327,000 total award. Bethlehem disputed that. Judge Kristen Ferreira last week released just over $251,000 to Sanchez for his damages. Now, she's scheduled to decide next month how much of the $75,000 that remains would go to Sanchez's lost wages and how much should be paid to his attorneys. A new report from the Northwest Avalanche Center finds that climbing party that lost 3 of its members in that Kolchak Peak avalanche in February, they carried no avalanche safety gear and only 1 had advanced climbing experience. The February 19th avalanche killed 3 of the 6 people who were climbing that day, sweeping them about 1,000 feet down the northeastern face of Kolchak. The team did not use ropes, was about 2/3 of the way up the climbing route when that avalanche triggered, when they triggered that fatal snowslide. Winter conditions have prevented rescuers from reaching the avalanche site for 4 days. They recovered 1 body since then. Now the bodies of the 2 other climbers are still there. Chelan County Emergency Management says the recovery is awaiting warmer weather and the melting of the snowpack. A local attorney made an appearance as a contestant in a Netflix series. It's called Love is Blind. His name is Jack Goitowski. He worked for the Wenatchee law offices of Camp Yednick and Ellsworthy. He went west to film the show in Seattle. Love is Blind features a social experiment where single men and women are looking for love, get engaged before meeting in person. Before the premiere, Goitowski wrote on Instagram that after disappointment in a small-town dating scene, he was ready to take the leap of faith. Season 4 of Love is Blind began streaming on Netflix on March 24th. Couple of quick notes. Heard from our friends at the Chelan County PUD Parks Department, and the Wenatchee Foothills Trail System will open on its traditional date. That is this Saturday, April 1st, so outdoor recreation will be open for the Wenatchee Foothill Trails on the far west side of the valley. Friendly reminder, all the north-facing aspects of the trail and the higher elevations of the trail are still pretty muddy. That's the last of the trail system that gets direct sunlight, so the snow melts. So just a heads up, higher elevations and north-facing slopes, those trails are not going to be in the best of shape. Of course, they close them over the winter months, so mule deer can habitat away. And skiers and snowboarders, good news for you. Mission Ridge did it again. They've extended their ski season through the end of the month, through the end of April 30th. So every weekday through April 9th, you can go up and ski and snowboard at Mission Ridge. And then every weekend, Saturday and Sunday, through April 30th, one of the longest seasons in Mission Ridge's history. And there you go. That's what's making news at 13 minutes after the hour. I have a feeling it's going to be a pretty busy news day with the preview. Here's Grant Olson.
Good morning, Dan. Coming up tonight on the NCW Life Evening News, we will bring you the latest local unemployment numbers from the State Employment Security Department. Sunshine by this afternoon and warmer today with even better weather set for tomorrow. I'll have all the details in your complete North Central Washington weather forecast. And in sports, Eric Granstrom has scores and highlights from a host of area high school sports and looks ahead to opening day in Major League Baseball tomorrow. That and all the day's news stories coming your way tonight at 5, 6, and 10 on the NCW Life Evening News. We hope to see you then. Dan?
Thank you, Grant. Got a news tip? Want to chime in and say hi? You can do so. In fact, we like it. We don't mind at all. Constructive criticism is good. I, of course, require unqualified praise. Our Facebook page, our homepage, our email address, pick up the telephone, give us a call if you so desire. After a break, we got lots of high school sports to talk about, and we're 24 hours away from opening day of the baseball season. Sports is next on this Winning Wednesday. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life Channel.
Central Washington Water is your solution for problem water. Whether you're on a well or municipal water, they can design a clean water system custom to you. Soft water eliminates water spots and scaling on fixtures. It protects appliances from hard water damage, saving you money. Soft water reduces soap usage that causes skin irritation and is a healthier choice to drink. Call for a free in-home consultation or stop by the store to have your water tested. Central Washington Water, your best water solution for home, pool, and spa.
The Clearwater Saloon and Casino has the best Vegas-style games in East Wenatchee. Come enjoy yourself and discover the nightly action. Win big and meet new friends at the Clearwater Saloon and Casino.
Of quarter after the hour. It was chilly, it was cloudy, it was windy all over our area last night. And Eastmont, well, the Wildcats, they felt that bitter breeze down their necks. They had a Big Nine matchup against Eisenhower, the Cadets, unknown, coming into last night's tilt at Wildcat Stadium. But after one half of hard-fought, scoreless soccer, Eastmont knew they were in for a tussle. Sebastian Moraga and Matt Wisen with the call right here on the NCW Life channel.
Sanchez, the long ball for Sanchez, and now it's Leon into the box. Leon sails past one marker, left-footed shot across. My goodness! Valencia had it. Valencia had it. Desarrollo doesn't quite work. The push-up field by Maldonado. Maldonado, the shot, heart of the box, the header, and the stop by the goalkeeper Coronel. Maldonado looked like a header by Aaron Leon. On the counter attack, Herrera, and it kisses the netting from the outside. Leon looking to connect with Edgar Leon, and once again, Mr. Caleb Coronel. Mejia, left-footed shot, bounces off the wall. Mejia tries again, doesn't quite work. Scooped back by the Cadets. Josue Lopez, long ball for Herrera. This one's got quite a bit of speed. Herrera shaking one off, shaking two off, getting that right foot ready. The shot and the stop by Osvaldo Sanchez. What a maneuver by Herrera, but another good save by Osvaldo Sanchez. Recovered by Isman. Rogelio, shot across. Top of the box, nice maneuver. The shot sails over the crossbar. Quick run. Mora. Pefferman on the mark. Mora, shot across. The header. Goal, 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 goal. Mora finds who else? Corbin Herrera. 1-0 Eisenhower. Because when Herrera came to celebrate his goal, he pointed to the stands. Into the box we go. Maldonado, and it sails over the crossbar. Comfort level you were talking about at the beginning of the game. They know what the ball can do. And he was ready for it. Osvaldo Sanchez was. Into the box. Top of the box. The nice half volley and the diving stop by Mr. Coronel. Good touch that time. Off to the races, Maldonado. And the stop by Coronel. Tremendous stuff. I did not see a foul there, Matt Wisen. Your call.
No, it was just good hard play.
The header. Pushing it upfield, off to the races, is Leon sending it out of bounds. It will be a throw-in. No, that is the end. And this one goes the Cadets' way by a score of 1-0.
Eastmont coach Vidal Hurtado joined Sebastian after the game, said it was a tough loss, but the Wildcats learned a little bit.
It's often been said that you either win, tie, or learn. And what will the team learn after a tough pill to swallow here at home against Eisenhower?
We just got to finish. We were meeting a great keeper, and so we had a couple of shots where I think we connected well with the ball, but we weren't necessarily aiming. And that guy's he's a rock. He's a good keeper, and you got to play around him, play low. And we had enough chances to get ahead, to put it away, and it just we didn't have him. So that's what we learned. It's just you gotta have composure. As the pressure builds, we gotta be calm. We have to understand, we're under pressure, but we had plenty of time to recover, but we were making just silly mistakes that affect us over time. Right? It just builds on itself. So you got to be able to play calm. We're going to be trailing games. That's fine. That's part of playing soccer. But we got to be able to come back and build up and finish.
All right, let's go to the Les Schwab scoreboard in boys soccer. In other finals last night, Julian Reyes scored twice. The Panthers remain unbeaten in Big Nine play. They beat West Valley 6-1 down in West Valley. Sunnyside blasted Moses Lake. East Valley edging Ephrata. Chelan beat Cascade in the Apple Bowl last night 3-1. Bridgeport blanked Okanagan. Liberty Bell getting by Orville, and Brewster beating Pateras. As far as the soccer schedule, just one. It's Liberty Bell at Tenasket. They'll get going at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Prep baseball yesterday. Luke Gale and 3 relievers combined in a one-hitter against Ike. Wildcats blew past the Cadets 17-3. Brody Mills threw a complete game one-hitter with 15 strikeouts to lead West Valley over Wenatchee 3-0. Moses Lake held on to beat Ike 10-7. Cashmere split its non-league doubleheader with Kiona Benton. They dropped the opener but came back to take the nightcap. Chelan clobbered Cascade. That's not a misprint. 22-0. Tenasket edged Manson. Brewster beat Okanagan and Liberty Bell. Topped Lake Roosevelt and Waterville Mansfield shut out Bridgeport. The baseball schedule today. A couple of games of note. Lake Roosevelt's at Davenport at 4 o'clock. Waterville Mansfield will do battle in the Basin at 4:30. And it's Quincy at Omak also at 4:30. The prep fast pitch softball. Here are results from yesterday. Jenna Reeder pitched 5 innings of one-hit ball. Helped her own cause at the plate with a triple and a home run. Lee Cashmere over Kiona Benton in the opener of their non-league doubleheader. And then the Bad Bulldogs took the nightcap as well. Cascade cruised by Chelan out, 35-5. Elmira Cooley Heartline, Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young split a doubleheader with Oroville. They won the opener, lost the nightcap. Okanagan edged Brewster. Lake Roosevelt blasted Liberty Bell. Waterville Mansfield no trouble with Bridgeport. And girls softball 22-1. Later today, it's the same schedule as baseball, only it's fast pitch softball, as you see on your schedule there with a doubleheader, Tenasket at Cascade. Prep tennis scoreboard from yesterday. Wenatchee swept Eisenhower in Yakima. The gateway to Wapato. The boys won 6-1, the girls 5-2. The Eastmont boys and girls also victorious over Sunnyside at the Rack, 5-1 and 6-0 in a battle of the Bulldogs. The Cashmere girls swept Okanagan 5-0. The boys fell 3-2. Chelan swept Cascade, and the boys winning 3-2, the girls sweeping 5-0. One match in tennis on the schedule today. In Caribou Trail League play, it's Quincy hosting Omak at 4. The Husky women play at Kansas today. It's the NIT Women's College Basketball semifinals. It's the Huskies and the Jayhawks at Allen Fieldhouse at 4:30 this afternoon. If you have ESPN Plus, you can watch it in a stream. They're actually going to be on TV. That hasn't happened in the NIT tournament. And hey, who's kidding who? Tomorrow, 7:05. I'm ready, baby. The Mariners and opening day. Let's go. Of course, Seattle won 90-72 a season ago. They made the playoffs for the first time in 21 years. They'll take on the defending AL Central champion Cleveland. The Guardians tomorrow night at T-Mobile Park. Shane Bieber will pitch for Cleveland. Louis Castillo will toe the rubber for the Mariners. Of course, the pitch clock goes into effect for the first time in a regular season game. Seattle hoping to carry some of that magic from a season ago into this year's campaign. The Mariners reigniting its fan base with a great playoff run, a run that was capped by that crazy night back on the last day of September. Remember this?
Just thick with drama here at T-Mobile Park.
I was on the bench. I was told, there's a chance you get in here and have a pitch hit against the righty coming in.
Scott Service going to his bench and calling on Cal.
Coming off the bench, you never want to try to do too much because it never really works out. So I was just trying to have a good at bat.
And what a bat to have on the bench ready to go. He's going to go for the pump, you know that.
As the at bat went on, and I was in some hitter counts, and I was getting the slider.
And another slider from Acevedo.
Once it got to 3-2, I kind of had an idea that that pitch might come.
And the count is still 3-2.
Once I got that, I just knew, try to stay within myself, try to square it up the middle.
Everybody on their feet here at T-Mobile Park.
Once it kind of came in there, and I saw it.
The pitch from Acevedo.
Swinging a drive, deep to right field. Stay fair.
My first thought was don't go foul. And I saw it kind of fade back to the left. I knew it was gone because I knew I got all of it, and I didn't even see it land. I didn't even know it hit the cafe there.
Holy smokes, he did it! Off the hit air cafe!
I flipped my bat, and it was crazy. Looking over and seeing all my teammates jumping and going crazy, and then looking out over after rounding first, the whole left field, and kind of seeing all the fans and the fireworks and the horn. I was just like, what the heck just happened? Had no idea.
47,000 fans are going crazy.
It was crazy. Obviously hitting the home run, celebrating on the field, going in and celebrating, popping champagne, and then coming back out, and everybody's still there. You're like, is this real? This is insane that this many people with the stadium still packed and everybody's still here and cheering for us, and we're running around, get everybody high fives around the field, and just in awe. And there are fireworks and music, and the horn's still going, and the microphone. And it was so cool.
Let's party!
What I'm going to remember most is just seeing the pure joy on everybody's face, and how happy everybody was, and what a special night it was for everybody.
The drought is over!
Opening day, first pitch 7:10 at T-Mobile Park. Go Mariners, go Yankees. Baseball's opening day. Should be a national holiday. I will now get off my soapbox and just let you know I'm really pumped about tomorrow, 25 minutes after the hour. Today in history. No, not today in history. It's the obscure holiday. Now, before you throw that up, Uriah, just a quick thing. It's the 88th day of the year. Today is the 88th day of 2023, and it's a musical-related obscure holiday. So, 88 music. Pianos, of course. It's World Piano Day. That's the piano I have at my house. It's not the piano that I have at my house. The piano was invented in 1709 by a guy who played the harpsichord. And he said, I want to be able to play the harpsichord either soft, like the musical instrument is, or loud, which you can't do with a harpsichord. Then he figured out if you hit the strings with a hammer on the harpsichord, it makes a much louder sound. Thus, the piano was born. A piano has over 12,000 parts. 10,000 of those parts move. So as you might imagine, you need to really work at it. That's why people make a living as professional piano tuners. You don't see professional guitar tuners or things like that, but there's so many working 230 strings on an 88-key piano with all of that. So piano tuners, good ones, can make a pretty good living. Yeah. Each string on the piano holds about 170 pounds of tension. Again, piano tuners, that's a challenge right there. And of course, the piano has the range in music, all the way from the lowest note you can possibly play to the highest note you can possibly play on a piccolo. It's like an orchestra in one instrument. And by the way, the exact middle of a piano keyboard is not middle C. It's actually a space between E and F above the C. Learned that back in my piano playing days. Happy National Piano Day. Probably the most influential single instrument of all time. 27 minutes after the hour. Today in history, happy birthday, Coca-Cola. That's John Pemberton. He was a Civil War veteran. And at the end of the war, he found that he was addicted to painkillers because of his injuries. And he decided, I need to do something about that. So he came up with Coca-Cola to wean himself off of painkillers. John Pemberton, on this date, brews the very first batch of Coca-Cola in his backyard in Atlanta. On this date in 1886, 136 years ago, he claimed that Coca-Cola could cure morphine addiction, that was what he is addicted to, indigestion, nerve disorders, headaches, and impotence. It doesn't. But back in those days, you could claim anything you wanted. Coca-Cola, 136 years old today. Happy 62nd anniversary to the 23rd Amendment. We look back with incredulity now. But until this date, in 1961, if you lived in Washington, D.C., you couldn't vote in the presidential election. Washington, D.C. is a federal enclave. The Congress controls the local laws of Washington, D.C. So you had no representation in Congress if you were one of the 600,000 people who actually lived in the District of Columbia. They finally figured out that ain't right. If you live in America and you're old enough to vote and you're a registered voter, you should be able to vote for the presidency. They fixed that 62 years ago today. 50 years ago today, our combat presence in Vietnam ended. 50 years ago today, the very last combat forces leave South Vietnam. South Vietnam hung on for a couple more years before it was all over. So today is the Vietnam War Veterans Recognition Act. It was passed into law in 2017, so this is the day, March 29th, that we remember, recognize, and honor missing or living or deceased veterans of the Vietnam War. It didn't end like the other wars. Korea had a definitive ending, World War I, World War II, but that Vietnam kind of just sort of petered out 50 years ago today. And 38 years ago today, in the middle of the night, 15 Mayflower trucks back into the headquarters of the Baltimore Colts. They loaded them up, and they're off to Indianapolis. Gone, see ya, bye. And Baltimore was a Colts town. They loved their Colts. But Indianapolis loved them even more. Of course, the NFL said there's really nothing we can do. Thanks to Al Davis moving the Raiders, the NFL basically said we're powerless. If the owner wants to move the team from Baltimore to Malaga, he can, and there's nothing we can do about it. See you, Baltimore. It is the bottom of the hour right now, birthdays. We always do presidents. The 10th president of the United States, John Tyler, was born in the state in 1790. He was William Henry Harrison's vice president William Henry Harrison died 1 month into the job, so John Tyler served longer than any president in this country's history without being elected to the presidency himself. There was a bit of a constitutional crisis, but he said, no, I'm the president, moved into the White House, took the oath of office, named a new cabinet, assumed full presidential powers. He wasn't going to be an interim president. He said, I'm going to be the president. He was unbelievably unpopular with his own party. He twice vetoed the National Banking Act, and because of that, his party, the Whigs, expelled him from the party. They threw him out. And then his entire cabinet, except his Secretary of State, resigned because they just couldn't stand him. On his last day in office, they overrode a veto. He was the first presidential veto that was overridden by Congress, and Congress just did it out of spite. There was nothing really big about it. John Tyler is the only president in this country's history who was not buried with an American flag when he died in 1862. During the course of the Civil War, he was loyal to the Confederacy. He was buried with the Stars and Bars. And perhaps the most amazing thing is this. John Tyler was born when George Washington was president of the United States, and John Tyler has a living grandson. John Tyler had 15 kids. His youngest kid was born when John Tyler was 70. That kid had his youngest kid when he was 75 years old. And so John Tyler's grandson, Harrison Tyler, born in 1928, is still alive at the age of 94. That guy, who's been dead since 1862, has a living grandchild. That's what happens when you have a baby when you're 75, I suppose. The great Denton True Cy Young, who holds 3 baseball records that will never be broken, wins 511 innings pitched, 7,356, and 749 complete games. For the award of Outstanding Pitcher in each league, they get the Cy Young Award. Denton True Cy Young, born in state in 1867. And one more heavenly birthday, Sam Walton, the founder of Walmart and Sam's Club from 1982 to 1988. He was the richest man in the world. Sam Walton, born in the state in 1918. 32 minutes after the hour, Mike Mignotti's got an opinion. And then Jeff and Charles join me from North 40 Productions. Their movie, We're Not Lost. The last ride of the show ponies airs tomorrow at the Pack. They're going to join me next. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
If you could live anywhere, where would it be? And what would it be like? Open up a world of possibilities when you sell your home and make those dreams real. At ColdwellBanker.com, you can get an instant estimate on your home, compare cost of living city by city, and learn more about our revolutionary seller's assurance program. So it really is true. Your dreams don't have to be just dreams. At ColdwellBanker.com.
Here's your coffee. That'll be $5.
Thanks.
Oh, it's only $5.
Oh, I like paying double.
Why?
I've always paid more.
You wouldn't pay double for coffee, so don't pay double on your heating bill. Cut your heating bills by up to half when you switch to a heat pump or ductless mini split and get up to $4,000 cash back from Chelan PUD. Save way more September 1st through March 31st.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody's entitled to my opinion. Now, some years ago, I was listening to the radio, and an ad came on advising me to buy silver now because the Chinese and the Armenians, whoever, I don't know, they were buying up all the silver. So soon, any day now, the price of silver would skyrocket. So I checked the price of an ounce of silver that day, and I wrote it on a sticky note. I dated it, and I stuck the sticky on my wall in my office. Now, 1 year later, I checked the price of silver, and it had actually decreased a few dollars in price. Did I buy any silver? Nah. Will I be sorry someday? Well, maybe. but probably not. Oh, gosh. This is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and that's my opinion.
Shoot, I think I left my keys in the kitchen. Can you grab them?
Yep.
Find them?
What's this?
It's a locking bag. It keeps Grandma's medication safe.
But I could just take it.
Well, for one thing, it locks. And if it were gone, I know there's a problem.
Huh. Well played.
Help prevent opioid misuse before it starts. Visit getthefactsrx.com.
Welcome back to the program. If you don't have any plans on March 30th, or even if you do have plans on March 30th, I want you to cancel them, and I want you to get down here to the Numerica Performing Arts Center, fork over your $12 and be entertained by a fascinating documentary by these two great storytellers and filmmakers from North 40. Jeff and Charlie, reintroduce yourself to our television family, if you don't mind.
Yeah, hi, I'm Jeff Austinson from North 40 Productions.
And I'm Charles Atkinson from North 40 Productions.
Last time I saw you, Jeff, last time you and I were together, I think somebody stepped on my tongue. I can't remember. It was the beer garden
Maybe.
A couple of years ago.
Apple Blossom, perhaps?
It might have been Apple Blossom. By the way, I still watch that movie. I still find it fascinating, even though I've seen it like 10 times, all the fuss about a parade.
Oh, yeah.
It was well done.
Thank you very much. We really enjoyed doing that. It was great to work with Apple Blossom. But really to dive in deep, and we spent almost an entire year from the process of selecting the royalty throughout the entire Apple Blossom Festival, and then into the summer as those people travel all over the Northwest representing us. It was really fun to dive deep into that and gain a new appreciation for just how hard those folks work.
But that was work for a hire. This is your own project. This is something that you two are doing on your own volition, with your own creative input, which is probably, I suppose, Charles, kind of funner than being told what to do by people who write checks?
Oh, we enjoy all the different limitations that come with working for people and with people and for ourselves. So, this was a cool to be able to not have to turn to a client and say, how do you feel about this? So we get to look at each other and say, how are you feeling about this? Is this working or not working?
Go ahead.
Well, I think we also get an opportunity to let the story sort of unfold without influencing it in any way. This story in particular was a very fast production. We filmed them over 5 days, and that was sort of what we had. We didn't know what we had, in fact. We thought we probably had a short. But that, as we dug into it and got deeper and deeper and asked questions and talked about it and talked to our friends about it, we ultimately came up with the idea that it would be a feature.
This is self-financed and self-produced, which means you guys could make a film about anything you want. And you decided to do a film about a band that put out 3 CDs, had a great following, and then quit.
Yes.
Talk about why, of all the projects you could do, how did this fall into your lap?
Charles, why did we do this?
Yeah, I'll start, and then it landed very personally with you, I know, after we got through those 5 days of shooting. But I think what I was most excited about following the band members are friends of mine. I went to school with 4 of them and lived specifically with the frontman, Clay Chaney, after college. And the band formed in our living room and grew from there back in 2011. But as they were saying goodbye to this big dream in their lives, it struck a nerve with me or touched something in my heart about having to let go of something that you thought was going to be everything. And I thought, wow, how cool would it be to follow along and see what these band members, these family members are experiencing as they let go. So I said, Jeff, we got to go film these guys in their last few shows and talk to them about what's going on. And I thought, we'd have a 15-minute short film for the fans.
It's an hour and 15 minutes.
It's
by
an
the way,
hour and
Charles.
15 minutes,
Check
yeah.
out the final edit, yeah. So the shooting schedule was extremely tight, and then you had, because the band hasn't been together for almost 5 years now, right? So did you just sit on it for a while and do other projects and then pick it up while you had a chance, or do you prefer momentum, like let's just do this and let's edit this and put it all together when we can block out a month of just solid work?
Well, that's a great question, and that's part of the reason why I think sometimes self-financing is a challenge, is because we didn't ask anybody else for any money. We did it as we could, and we did it when we had time in our schedule, and we had money to spend on it. So because of those things, we didn't have a lot of ability to just crush it super fast. We hit COVID, and then all of a sudden we thought, oh, we could make this movie. So the process itself of after production was complete, after the filming is complete, of putting it together would normally take about a year anyway. So we kind of hit it hard, starting COVID, and then basically finished it for real maybe last fall, and now we're just figuring out the distribution strategy.
So you had a very tight shooting schedule, and then you had the luxury of having as much time as you needed to actually put the whole thing together. So how many hundreds of hours of footage were able to trim down to the 75 minutes? I mean,
well, that's what is unique in a lot of ways compared to many of our projects where we have 30, 40 interviewees to sift through and days and days and days of B-roll. Here we worked with 5 interviewees, 2 of them maybe interviewed a couple times, but we were working with less than 10 hours of interview content. And the process sort of started with 4 or 5 of us watching all that interview content and just talking about what we thought we had. So this was unique in that way for us, that we were actually working with a very finite amount of raw material compared to other projects that truly are hundreds of hours of material to slice through.
Well, I think what is also interesting about this project, and really helpful for documentary filmmakers, is they had a lot of media of their own. So we were able to access videos that they had done over their careers, and that helped a lot because we didn't have enough, I think, visuals to cover the whole thing. And as you notice, there's a lot of their videos from over the 7 years they played. There's a lot of photographs of them out in the world with fans and things like that. So we were able to supplement what we had with this resource of their archival media.
So this was basically Charles's baby in that respect. These are my friends, and this is their story. How hard was it for Charles to sell it to you, one of the principal owners? Was it a hard sell, or?
I did have to twist Jeff's arm when when I said I want to go shoot this. There was some travel involved and some other expenses, and that felt like a lot at the time for us to weather. So there was and I don't do this very often.
That's true.
Except for when it comes to buying a new camera. I'll leverage that all day long. But I said, I think we got to go do this, and we decided to make it happen. But that felt like a big deal at the time.
It was a big deal, and you should have said that you were 90% sure you'd be emotionally
destroyed
if we hadn't done that. That's a quote from the film. It was a little bit of a stretch for us at the time. We're a small business, and sometimes cash flow doesn't allow for trips to California, so it was a little bit of a stretch. But once we got on the road and we're filming these amazing characters, in this such a vulnerable moment of saying goodbye to their dreams, and not only saying goodbye to their dreams, but saying goodbye to each other and their fans. Like for 7 years, this is what their core business was, but also they treated each other like family. Once we got into it, clearly it was fascinating and beautiful and painful and lovely and a lot of fun. And their music is great, so that was super fun. And then just having a background of myself in music and having been in a band for a long time, and
you understand the dynamics of a band.
I really do, and sort of the ups and downs and sort of the breakup and the whole thing. So it became very personal to me over the process.
And yet, to me, it's a great story. I thought, I'm going to be depressed. This is the story of a band that is talented. They play great music, and it just didn't happen. But I took something completely different away from it.
What did you take away from it?
What I got from it is poop happens. I can't say the other word because we have an FCC license, and you have to move forward and deal with it because if you just dwell on it, you're toast.
Yeah.
You're not going anywhere. Yeah. You're just going to be stuck in the muck.
Well, and I think for me personally, this movie is it's for anybody who has ever had a dream or wanted to do something great and it didn't work out, which is everybody. And it's so, it's just so human to want to do great things and to want to make something of your life, especially when you're young and you're leaving college and you don't have a family and you don't have a lot of obligations and you're able to do these kind of almost, I wouldn't say crazy, but sort of risky things. But then over time, they all got married to other people and they started families and, you know, they have needs. They want to buy a house. They became more adult, and then that sort of clashes in the way of these sort of crazy dreams we have when we're younger. So I thought it was just a unique perspective on looking at just how we all live our lives.
Since this is a film, let's show the trailer, which was so nicely sent to me by Jeff and Charles. Here is a quick about 90-second peek of what you can expect on Thursday night, the 30th, right here at the PAC.
It took us years to get to this point, but some bands never even make it to that.
This whole project was very much a success.
This is our last show ever.
And we're saying goodbye to our fans with this farewell tour. It's been great crowds. People come out when you're breaking up.
We've known this was going to happen for a while. I mean, the writing was on the wall.
It really killed me because I had grown to really, really love doing this. I really envisioned the show ponies lasting for life.
If you spend every single waking moment with people for that long, you're going to want to kill them.
Everything comes to an end, right? I'm just so terrified.
We love you guys! I'll look back on it as the most amazing time of my life.
You talked about the challenge of you were dealing with some already existing footage that was provided to you by the band, by the show ponies, and then your own stuff that you shot yourself. Mm-hmm. And you are the cinematographer. You're the guy who's actually looking through the lens and deciding what's in the information frame as we go about it. And you're more of a
content guy.
Yeah. So talk about that collaborative process, because when you're filming, you go, this is good right now. I know what I'm getting right now, where it's going to be in the final cut.
I had, on this particular project, it was very run and gun, very guerrilla. It was just Jeff and I. And then for half of the interviews, I didn't even have the luxury of having Jeff with me. A couple of them are done in a car, where I am both operating the camera and
my
interviewing.
favorite scene.
Yeah.
And I don't want to spoil anything, but there's one time when the guy he was very honest. And I said, this is an honest film. I need to mention that right away. Mm-hmm. He goes, we've been together, through thick and thin every day for 6-8 years, and there are days when I wanted to kill my bandmates. I thought that was good. I kind of laughed out loud at that.
Yep. Yeah.
That took place in the car, I believe.
Yep. Yeah, it did. So it's a movie that's on the road, which has limitations as well. But I would just flick the camera on and started shooting everything that was happening. The way we approached the shows was just with a single camera in the back, and then me walking around the stage. And a lot of the visuals that we get to draw from during the 4 shows in the movie are just those 2 cameras, and we tried to make lemonade. Looking back, we would have shot it with 5 cameras and 4 camera operators and all kinds of stuff. But what we had was 1 camera moving around and 1 fixed camera in the back. So, we were just trying to make use of everything we possibly could when it came to the visuals.
Yeah, and I think another thing about the visuals, we mentioned that we didn't have a lot of our own raw media for this. We relied heavily on their archival media, but we also came up with the notion of using animation to tell some of the stories that we just simply didn't have anything for. And so we used a couple local artists, Lindsay Bridenthal and Nathan Getson. Lindsay sketched out the charcoals, and then Nathan animated those. And that became, I think, a fairly important part of the film, was these animations, so we can see something while we're hearing these stories.
I was going to ask you this. Can one storyboard a documentary? Because you're basically filming real life.
you can't really storyboard that kind of thing, can you?
We
Can't
don't
script it out.
Yeah, we don't speak in storyboards when we're talking about documentary. We talk about script treatments, and basically it's sort of notions about where this might go. But that's one of the great things about documentary is that it's a lot of it's just discovery. So as you're traveling along, you don't know what they're going to say, but you ask the questions that you think might elicit some amazing response, and then you ask a lot of questions to get as much as you can, and then you follow up with a question. That was interesting. Let's talk more about that. So it has a life of its own, which I find incredibly fun and makes our jobs very interesting.
The band is officially on a hiatus, although the odds of them getting back together again, as you mentioned, you grow up, you have babies, you move on to different things in different parts of your life. Have you heard from the band, from the 5 members about? Have they seen any of this? Have you heard any feedback from them?
Yes, we got a mixed bag of responses when we first shared the movie with them. I think all of them are in different headspaces when it comes to looking back on this part of their life and where they are now, and have they moved on in a completely functional, healthy way, or are they still holding on to some stuff? But generally speaking, the response has been very positive from them. They were really excited to see this chapter of their life captured and in a really honest way. But they all had their own unique reactions to it, and some of them, I think it's hard to watch yourself in that space for different reasons, whether it's I'm still attached to that thing that was the Show Ponies, or I don't like seeing myself at that maturity level or that age or whatever. So yeah, mixed bag, but generally speaking, positive, and many of them have come to a couple of the preview screenings that we've done, and a couple of them will be here actually next week.
Yeah, 2 of the band members will be here for the screening in Wenatchee.
Yeah.
And it should be pointed out, I'm not going to, no spoiler alert here, but the last about 4.5 minutes of the movie kind of kicked my butt a little bit. And I'm not talking about the credits either. I'm talking about the actual last 4 minutes of the movie. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Again, it is March 30th here at the Numerica Pack. It says $12 to get. You could charge more than that. What the hell's the matter with you guys? You guys got to get your money back.
No.
Yeah.
We want everybody to enjoy the film.
Yeah.
And the music. I mean, I think that's one thing that's really important to note is that these folks, their music is still out there. Even though they're not currently playing together, the music is still out there. It's great. You can see them on Spotify. In fact, they have one song on Spotify has over 17 million listens. So it's not like nobody has heard of this band before. A lot of people are listening still.
Yeah. And great musicians. All of them are great musicians. The banjo player, the fiddle player, they're all good.
Oh, yeah.
And they mesh so well.
Yeah, and one of the band, Jason Hawk Harris, who's the guitar player, is actually had a great start at his solo career right before COVID. Rolling Stone actually features him in an article and says he's kind of up and coming. Kind of had to take a hiatus, but I think he's back out there with a new album right now. So
it's going to be here at the Numerica Performing Arts Center on Thursday the 30th. So come down, have a nice dinner, and then come down and see Jeff and Charlie. Q&A afterwards, or is just here's the movie and thanks for coming kind of thing?
I think because this is our home theater, we're going to have a little talk afterwards. We're also going to have Phil, the fiddle player, and Clay, the frontman, who's playing guitar instead of bass, is going to play some music for us.
And there's one other lesson that you're going to learn from this. L.A. is a hard town to make it in. I can tell you. I've heard stories, but not like I heard in this movie. What's next for you guys? I mean, I know you do a lot of contract work with a lot of clients, but just when you guys get to work with a blank canvas, what are you guys working on? What's next that we can? Please tell me we're not going to do another interview in 6 years when the movie's done, though.
No. We have a couple things going. One thing in particular on the work for hire side. This is probably more of a partnership, but we're going to be doing a feature documentary about a court case called U.S. versus Washington State from 1974, which is also called the Bolt decision, and has a lot to do with treaty tribes and their fishing rights and how the state and tribes have figured out how to co-manage the salmon since then. And a fascinating story, a lot of history, but a lot of how that history now impacts today. So super excited about that. And then we're also kind of dabbling in the idea of doing our own feature narrative film.
Yeah, a scripted piece.
Wow.
So maybe 2-3 years from now we'll be talking about a good old-fashioned movie that is a scripted film from North 40.
Might be a horror film.
Might be a horror film. Yeah.
I'm scared already.
Yeah.
As long as Jeff's in it, I know it's going to be a horror film.
Right. He'll die first.
Yeah, really.
Definitely.
Screening again is Thursday the 30th here on the stage of the America. Not on the stage, it'll be on the screen. It would be kind of silly.
can people eventually, can you pick up a DVD or download it? I mean, for people who are going to want to watch this over and over again without having to travel to Los Angeles or Portland or Seattle.
Yeah, great question. We are in the process of figuring out where this the final home of this will be, or at least the next home in the distribution space. It's a really complicated world out there in distribution right now, but it will definitely be on some streaming service probably in the fall.
Cool. Charles and Jeff, thanks for letting me do this. Thanks for letting me watch the movie. I got a lot out of it. I'm going to watch it again.
Great.
And then again, does my subscription expire after certain clicks? Or
You've got a special link that might last a long time.
Yeah, it might.
I'll remember that.
Yeah.
It's good to see you guys. North 40, these guys are great filmmakers and great storytellers. Don't take my word for it. Get your butt down here on the 30th of this month and watch it right here. It's only $12. You're going to get $13 worth of entertainment. I guarantee it. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
Hi, my car's making a funny noise.
Not a problem. We'll take care of you.
Global Car Care's technicians are ASE Master Techs and well versed in the more refined methods of vehicular diagnostics.
Number 3 piston and rings have a slight loss of compression, down to 108 pounds. Your transmission is slipping. You're gonna need a service.
Looks like you all set.
These guys? They're good.
Oh, and your spare is flat.
Global Car Care, Wenatchee's top shop.
Ever wonder how wine gets from grape to glass? Chelan Ridge Winery is one of the largest wine production facilities in the valley and is now offering tours from grape to glass. Come on up and see how platinum level wines are made and then taste them for yourself.
Behind this door is one of Wenatchee's best kept secrets. Behind this door you'll find things you can't find anywhere else. Behind this door is the new upgraded Riverhouse Cigar Bar. More of everything you come to love, the secret's out and the door is open.
There it is, the theme to Winning Wednesday, as performed by Rock and Roll Hall of Famers, the Rolling Stones. Or something we found online, I can't remember what. Winning Wednesday, we do it every Wednesday. And once again, thanks to our friends at That Pizza Place. It's got bowling, it's got arcade games, and by golly, it's got pie. As you might imagine, pretty good pizza pie. By the way, they're now taking online orders at That Pizza Place in downtown Cashmere. We did this a few weeks ago. Very popular. Thought we'd do it again. This is bowling. It's on the back of this. Bowling for a family of 6, or just 6 people. I don't think you have to be a family. I'm not going to parse that too much. 6 people get to bowl for 2 hours at That Pizza Place, and that includes shoe rental. It's a $70 value, and it could be yours. Winner at ncwlife.com is the email address. That's how you enter. You have to email me, winner at ncwlife.com. Don't forget the qualifications. Employees of Solion Broadcasting and Local Telecommunications are not eligible. Sorry, Jordan. And if you do not enter the contest, you cannot win the contest. So you're automatically ineligible if you don't send me an email. And don't send me emails over and over again on the same email address. We know that. It's one entry per email address, all right? And I'd always like it when the people who enter say, we really enjoy the show. It doesn't increase your odds of me actually pulling your name out of the hat. But it's always nice to hear. That Pizza Place. Thanks for sponsoring Winning Wednesday this Wednesday. From the National Weather Service, next 2.5, 3 days look pretty darn good. You see the clouds behind me, they will be departing as the day progresses, and we'll see some sunshine this afternoon, hoping for that 60-degree mark. Been a long time since we had 60. Halloween was the last time we hit 60 degrees. We haven't gotten to that mark since. 38 for the overnight low tonight. A beautiful day on Thursday. Bountiful sunshine for everybody. Little light breeze at times. We can handle that. 61 for the high. Mostly sunny all of the day Friday. And then starting Friday afternoon, really into Friday night, a series of weak systems, one after the other, is going to start visiting us, which means periods of some windy conditions, cloudy skies, and cooler temperatures. And we will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.